Hey everybody, it's Captain Mike, and we're back with another episode of Get to Know. And I'm telling you, today is one I have been looking forward to for a long time. This is going to be an opportunity for me to get to know somebody I have followed for many years, and I want to bring you along the ride. Uh, it's an interesting one today, and I love it. You know, Webster's Dictionary defines the word fanatic as a person who is extremely enthusiastic and devoted to a particular interest or activity. Well, what happens when that fanaticism ends up taking you all the way to the very top, the CEO of the very thing you love? And this gentleman, well, let's just say he likes his fried chicken from a certain spot. I bring to you the Bojangles Champion himself, JZ.
Folks, let me tell you straight up, the one and only, the Bojangles Champion here at Carolina Beach, North Carolina, the home of the champ. And I'm going to tell you, not only are we just talking about sauce you can take home, but the Bo sauce is back. And not only is it back, but you can get it and take it home today. Now the champ, the Bojangles Champion, the people's champion of fried chicken, won't able to get this delicious sauce on his own. I had help from the most beautiful, the most precious, the most desired woman on God's green earth, the Bojangles Champion Mamas. Woo! God, folks, she brought it home. She brought the sauce home, and you best believe not only does Bojangles have the best champion on God's green earth, but the champ has the best mama that ever walked God's green earth. Give me a woo, mama. Woo! It's bow time.
Yeah, that's right. It is the Bojangles champ himself joining us. Champ, welcome to the show. I had to make sure if we're gonna hype up the champ, we had to bring from the very start and include the mama. That's the greatest thing I've seen in a long time. How are we doing, champ?
Oh, brother, let me tell you, I don't watch my own stuff. I just don't, never have, never will, brother. But that's the first time I have seen that promo that I did with my mom. That is the first time, dude. And I don't remember at all. But man, dude, I'm not gonna lie. It brought a little bit of a tear to my eye because let me tell you, I have got the best mama and daddy that you could ever ask. And I ain't trying to crap on anybody else's mama and daddy, brother, but they have put up with so much of my junk. You know, my mama will be out in public, and obviously, JZ is not my real name. All right, it's not. And so people walk into her and be like, "Hey, ain't you JZ's mom?" And for the longest time, she was just like, "Who?" She didn't know what was going on, and then now her next question is, well, that depends on how you know him.
Absolutely.
But she is an absolute awesome sport, and that Bo sauce hadn't hit the shelves yet when she got it. She actually went into the store, the stock room of the local food line here, found it herself, stole it, and went to the checkout counter to see if they would ring it up, and they rang it up, and she brought it on to the house.
Oh man,
Mom, she was the star of that, brother.
That's Mom is like Ocean's 11 in here. She's doing bank heists at the Food Lion. That is so great. Well, JZ, we're thank you so much for joining us. Now I'm gonna, you're going to be new to a lot of people that are seeing this video, and they're going to be having a lot of questions because we're right now I'm recording here in Eastern Pennsylvania, and you are North Carolina, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Born and raised.
And so we're gonna have a few things, little discrepancies. And the first is this, the big one, the massive one. Around us, and when I say around us, I mean drivable distance, there's only one Bojangles. So I
And
have a
Reading, Pennsylvania.
Reading,
Absolutely.
Pennsylvania, and that's where I wrote you for the
Absolutely.
first time from. And so there's probably people that don't know what is Bojangles. So let's just kick it off right now because it's going to be the crux of our story. What is Bojangles?
Oh, absolutely. If you want to know what Bojangles is, imagine if KFC didn't suck. That's what Bojangles is. It is Cajun seasoned fried chicken. It is mashed taters. It is buttermilk biscuits. It is Cajun pintos, macaroni and cheese, dirty rice, slaw, bowberries, cinnamon twist, brother, chicken supremes, Cajun fillets, all of your days, bow rounds and fries, and the best sweet tea that has ever graced God's green earth, brother. And not only that, but they have migrated and pushed to the next level. Next, they are taking on pulled barbecue coming to every store
Oh,
here soon, brother. And
oh,
not only that, some of these new stores have got a treat that the champ has only had once in his life, one time, and that is that delicious bowberry milkshake that has eluded me for so long, brother. And
oh,
we'll have to talk about that later on, brother. But that
yeah.
bowberry milkshake, whoo, son, whoo.
So I'll tell my audience, my wife and I, as you can see by my petite figure, love us some fast food and love us some good food, some good restaurants, and we have bucket lists of places that we want to hit, and we've been blessed to be able to go around different places of the country, and we've gone to Kentucky and we've hit up Raising Cane's and love that. We've gone to the Midwest and hit the Culvers and love that. But we found out there was a Bojangles in Reading about 2 hours from us, and we had an event nearby, and we said we're going early so we can stop at Bojangles. And I love so many of the different things around, but I'm telling you, the moment I put a Bowberry biscuit in my mouth, I my life was changed. It was
Absolutely.
changed. And so I immediately at the store, I was so excited. I had to tell somebody. And I had never spoken with Jay-Z ever, other than a few comments here and there on his social. And I DM'd him and said, "This is incredible."
But see, that's what, and finally, Bojangles themselves are getting onto this game that they don't realize. They did not realize the greatness of their bowberry, and now you're starting to see sausage bowberries,
Oh yeah.
Cajun filet bowberries, and it just amplifies their food to the next level. That sweet and savory, sweet and salty. That combination is hard to beat, and they're just
Yeah.
straight doing it up there, and it's going to take off by storm. And what people don't see and what people don't realize is Bojangles is a Southern thing. It is started in July 6th, 1977, in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's where it started, and it has spread and it has grown. And now with Mr. Jose Amario at the reins of this corporation, it is growing. It is going nationwide with Las Vegas being talked about, if not groundbreaking already. Los Angeles as well. You know,
Wow.
we're going to take we are going to take America by storm. And then eventually, maybe we're going to teach Canada what Canadian bacon is really ham and what real bacon is all about, brother. We're going to see how that goes, but that's coming, man. That's
That'd be
coming.
great.
And the bad thing, Cap, the bad thing is, you know, thankfully, you had the knowledge, the intelligence, the brilliance, and the beautiful man that you are to show that highlight reel of the champ there. So
Yeah.
they saw the Bojangles suits. They saw the Bojangles championship. They saw the champ laying the law down like only the champ does, brother. Because right now I'm in a felt green velvet suit with
That's
my
that church suit
beautiful,
right there.
beautiful bow tie. I'm not a bow tie man, but this this suit right here is really growing on me, if
You
you know
got it.
what I mean. And they
I
see the
gotta you're
champion
looking
group.
like you're asking everybody how's a price right now. That's what you're looking.
Well, let me tell you, brother, there's no price. There's
Ah.
no price that's gonna get the Bojangles Championship, brother. Right there, my man.
Oh,
Right
it's a
there.
thing of beauty. It really is. One of a couple. All right. So we gotta we I want to get into being the champ, how that came about and how you got there. But I want to start at the beginning. There's a lot of people going to be watching this, fans of something. Like all of us, everyone, doesn't matter who we are, we're fans of something. And we're passionate about something. And sometimes it's big picture, sometimes it's little picture, sometimes it's just something that makes us feel good, like a good Bo-Berry biscuit. How did this love affair with Bojangles start? Where did this fanaticism uh, and passion begin? And then kind of double that up. When did you start thinking this is something that you want to share with other people in this social media age and get your love and passion for Bojangles out? So how did it start?
So, that's a twofold story. My love and passion for the Bojangles brand and their food, and how the championship thing started,
Yeah.
is two. This is not something of my own creation.
Okay.
People who start following me late in the game see this and think that this is a belt that I bought or that I had made, that this was something of my creation. This is nothing that I created. This was not my plan. This was not my idea. This is something completely different. But I'll get to that. So Bojangles started with my father's mother, who, when we first got our Bojangles here in my hometown, she fell in love with it, and it's somewhere that she would love to go, and she would bring me biscuits from. And when we would travel, I specifically remember going to Durham, North Carolina, and going to the beach with my mother and father and my sister, and us stopping and getting. I believe I got a ham biscuit, and I remember I could put jelly on it, and I put the whole thing of jelly on there. And at that point, I was like, I don't like jelly anymore, because it was so much jelly that I didn't eat jelly for a while because it was just so much. But so that it started at a young age, and then when I got into high school, of course, my grandmother would take me there, and then in high school, that's where pretty much everybody went to go hang out at, was Bojangles after school. That was the place to go. So me and my friends would go there. After my senior prom, we went to go eat at a fancy restaurant at prom, and went to prom, and then we left prom. We were like, oh, let's go to Bojangles and get a real meal. So that's just the kind of thing it was. That was our place to go. That's where we were going to go, for breakfast, uh, and after school. I ain't gonna say lunch because we ate lunch at school too, but
Yeah.
that's where we would go. And so it become a staple of my life. When me, and forgive me, but I am divorced. But when I was married, me and my ex-wife decided that we were going to, uh, lose a little bit of weight, get healthier, try to make sure that we were taking the best care of ourselves. And I said, well, there's one thing I'm not going to do, and that's give up my Bojangles. So on Sundays was kind of our cheat day. I
Yeah.
would definitely make sure that I would either have a Cajun filet, Supremes, or we were going to get a tailgate special. And that's just the deal, bro. It's like,
Yes.
I have not given up my Bojangles. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
would rather have my Bojangles than abs any day of the week. And brother, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm in the best shape that I've ever been in, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a slob either. I think I'm in pretty decent shape,
No,
but I am not
we
giving.
see the pictures. You definitely put the work in, that's for sure. You earn your Bojangles. You don't give it up.
Oh,
You earn your Bojangles.
oh yeah, absolutely. And if you look behind me, you can see a couple of the belts that I own. And so at the time, I probably had 20, maybe 25 belts, and I'm up to about 30 some now. But I would take those belts, and, I would tag Bojangles in a post on Twitter, and I would say, something small to the effect of, Bojangles is the world champion of chicken, and I would take a picture of my meal and put it there, and it kind of just caught on, and it got to the point where 80 to 100 people a month were tagging me and Bojangles in posts, and they would go to Bojangles and tag and say, JZ, I never heard of it. We went and tried it, we loved it, and that's kind of how it got me to the next level, because Bojangles told me, they were like, yeah, you were tagging us way too much in tweets, and we know you that you're a super fan, and I am. I love their food, and it's not. And I'm not trying to downplay the greatness of their food, but it was such a staple in my life. Growing up, I have so many fond memories of Bojangles, just with my friends and my family. My grandmother, my dad's mom, that I mentioned earlier, every Christmas I would get her Bojangles gift cards, and she was tickled pink. She
Yeah.
absolutely loved them. Two ham biscuits was her go-to. She absolutely loved it, and it's memories like that that I absolutely love about Bojangles.
Yeah. And that's and not blowing smoke at all. Legitimately, that's how I became aware of Bojangles, because there was no no Northeast footprint that I was aware of for it. And it was through your posts, early on with the belts and the chicken, and because we didn't have any of Bojangles competition. We had a KFC. We didn't have a Popeyes. We didn't have any of that stuff around us. And so when I started following, because we have a mutual love of wrestling, which is very obvious behind you. I said earlier, I'm very jealous of the wall. But again, that's, you work for those. And so, just kind of came in the circles. And so this passion, you kind of adapt early on too in the social media game. You're no spring chicken in that field now. And so as you started to gain traction and gain a following and start to be known as JZ and everything, how did that morph into the Bojangles Champion?
So it's real easy. I'm good friends with Conrad Thompson, and that's how I gained a lot of my followers, is because Conrad would really put my name out there or whatever, and people loved what I posted. They loved seeing my belt. They enjoyed my content, and it just really got my name out there. And I don't know if you're familiar with Gouge Wrestling. Seymour Snot being my main guy over there or whatever. I started getting followers from that, because people would see me at their events, and I owned Gouge's heavyweight championship belt. And so when I would go to shows, I would bring their original ring used belt and let kids take pictures with their favorite wrestler at the show or whatever. So then people started seeing me from that. And thankfully, being kind to these people, it kind of got my name out there. And Bojangles took a notice. They saw the people that I was plugging Bojangles to. They saw my love of wrestling belts, and so they invited me down to their headquarters there in Charlotte. And that's something that I wasn't really expecting. And I shot them down the first. I shot them down the first time. I shot them down the first time because I was like, so what my thing was like, it was short notice, and they were like, well, we would love for you to come toward the headquarters or whatever. And so I went to my boss and I was like, hey, Bojangles wants me to come toward their headquarters or whatever. And he was like, Bojangles. And I'm like, yeah, their headquarters is in Charlotte. He was like, and do what? And I was like, well, they said make biscuits and whatnot. He's like, well, okay, are you taking off? And I'm like, well, I don't know. He's like, well, I kind of need you this week. And so I didn't really push the issue. And so I told him I was
you had to turn down the prettiest girl at the prom. That's what you have to do right there. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't understand what they were after, And so they kicked back another date, and I'm like, well, they're serious. They really want me to come. I thought they were just kind of like being nice or whatever. No, it was. I got a feeling it was one of those things. It was either me come down there or that
There we
Bojangles Jeep was going to come kidnap me in the middle of the night. It was one or the other.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, they're serious. They're serious about me coming down. I was like, so I went back to my boss and I told him, I said, well, they didn't kick me back another day, so I'm not coming to work on June the 29th of 2018. I'm not going to be here. Sorry. That's just the deal, bro.
You're
You know,
right.
well, he's like, you know, he didn't care. He's just like, just go have a good time. He's like, if they're inviting you down, just go enjoy it. And I was like, all right.
Right.
So that's what I did. And I went down the night before, spent the night because it's about a 3-hour drive from where I live from. And I didn't want to make that early drive in the morning to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I stayed at a hotel right next, I ain't gonna say right next door, but it's like a 3-minute drive from their headquarters. And I showed up the next morning at 9 o'clock in the morning on June 29th, 2018, not knowing at all what to expect whatsoever. And well, once we get to that part of the story, I'll get up and I'll grab the original belt because right here, what I have is not the original belt.
Right.
And I'll gladly get into that story as well.
Yeah, we want to hit that too. So definitely, so they bring you in and everything. Now, for me, like we were talking before. My love for wrestling is wrestling as a whole is my Bojangles. That's my passion. This is my calling. It's the Salvation Army, but if you get me any other time, my congregation sure knows I'm about wrestling. And so the biggest thrill of my life so far has been that I got to be on WWE television. And that's like, and even more importantly, my family got to be on with me, which was just incredible. But I remember that feeling of something that I have loved and had a true passion for such a long time, finally wanting me, finally like reaching out to me, and that feeling of like I've must have showed enough love and passion that they want me. So what was that like for you, knowing that not only were you showing passion, but they wanted you and they were actively, like you said, they were going to come kidnap you if needed? What was that like as a fan of Bojangles?
Oh, it was absolutely adoration, appreciation all day long, brother. And I couldn't, just think about it. And this was my one of two trips so far to the headquarters of Bojangles. You think about this. This is a corporation at the time that was probably $300-400 million in profit.
Yeah.
A year, and they have steadily grown since then. They take time out of their day for me to teach me how to make biscuits in their test kitchen and give me a tour of their headquarters, which, the first day I was down there, they obviously kept things up and running like they had to do, but still, you're talking about several corporate people taking time out of their day. Like,
right.
I don't know how busy they are, but I imagine you're running 1,000 stores. I imagine you kind of busy.
Yeah.
They took time. Slightly. They took time out of their day to roll out the red carpet for me to teach me how to make biscuits. And then not only that, but they knew what I ordered. They had went back on my social media enough to know what my choice of meals was, and that's what they had waiting for. Wow. And it's just, it showed that they had done their research. They DM'd a bunch of my friends, found out way more information. My friends should not be trusted whatsoever because they told my whole life story to these Bojangles people. Hopefully they knew that these were Bojangles people and not just some random person on the street, because they divulged way more than they should have. Because
you can buy the unauthorized biography of the Bojangles champ coming to Barnes & Noble soon through Bojangles Publishing. All right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was insane. Because I don't want to say I'm a private person, but my social media is nothing but my Bojangles stuff for the most part. I talk about my relationship with Christ, I don't discuss anymore, my personal relationships with people. I don't discuss nothing professionally. I just don't because
Right.
I feel like if you do that, then you're letting in more people that don't need to know about your life or in your life that you don't need.
Yeah.
But anyway, so, you know, we go through, we make these biscuits. They give me some gift cards, some clothes, some totes. I'm trying to remember everything they gave me that day, and I can't really think of everything off the top of my head. But me and my ex-wife are sitting there, and we're eating Cajun filet biscuits with some French fries and both sides sweet teas because that's what we typically get. And I remember I had like 2 or 3 bites of my biscuit left, and obviously, the biscuits that we were eating were the ones that we had made
Yeah.
ourselves. And
Right.
I will say this, mine was superior than my
Yeah.
ex-wife's. But we were sitting there eating, and this gentleman comes in, and he says, "Hey, we got one more thing we want to show you before y'all leave." And I'm like, "Dude," I was like, "can I just finish eating my biscuit first?" Like, it's a really, like, it's super fresh. It
Yeah.
literally had just come out of the oven. They had literally just pulled the Cajun filet out of the deep fryer. I mean, I have never had a Bojangles biscuit that fresh. I mean, you're talking about it didn't even get a chance to get wrapped up, put in a bag. It got put on a plate into my mouth, bro. It was
Yeah.
like this.
You were melting and having those stars you see in the movies in your face.
Oh yeah, bro, I was in heaven. So he's like, I got one more thing I want to show you, and I'm like, okay, and I'm gonna grab it.
Yeah.
Let me put this down right here, and I'm gonna keep on talking.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he said, we got one more thing we want to show you, and I said, okay. And so I walk into this conference room, and when I walk into this conference room, I look on their podium, and I can see on this podium, it's a black podium, and on top of this podium is something underneath a yellow cloth. So I look at the outline of this yellow cloth, and I'm like, that really looks like a belt. But it's one of those things. It's like you don't expect a
Yeah.
corporation to give you a belt. What people don't realize is these belts are anywhere from $1,800 to $4,000. I've seen some go for as much as $7,000.
Right.
They're expensive, and
Mhm.
so I'm like, all right, they've already been so good to me. They pull that cloth up and it's just a plaque. I'll be good. I'll still be appreciative or whatever. But I was going to be a little bit let down because it wasn't a belt.
Right. Yeah, that the wrestling gene is man, it's integrated in everything we are. And so
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So he pulls that cloth up and he goes through this whole spiel. And this is where he has divulged all this personal information that he has gotten from my friends. And I'm like, all right, great. So obviously I got some snitches that want to tell everything that they know about me. And he pulls this cloth up. And when he pulls this cloth up, it's this.
Oh,
And
that
it's
is
the
gorgeous.
old school Bojangles Championship belt. And it's
Yeah.
a spinner as well. And, it has since been, it's got red croc on the back now. Originally, it was just a black on black strap. But this is the original Bojangles Championship. And when they pulled that cloth up, I was like, there's no way they're letting me take that home.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, oh no, he's like, if you're gonna be the Bo champ, you gotta have the Bojangles belt. And I was like, so this is going home with me? He was like, yeah, it's going home with you. I was like, holy crap. So,
Oh man.
you know, I got a belt, bro. And
Yeah.
they said, well, you're the Bojangles champion. I'm like, well, rock and roll, brother. How more how legit is that when that corporation makes a championship belt for you and gives it to you?
Yeah.
And so they thought they didn't research the best, I reckon I should say, because they thought that I was just going to take that belt home and put it on a shelf, and it was going to be a shelf queen. Nah, that is not how Jay-Z gets down at all.
Yeah.
So I went and me and my ex mother-in-law went shopping, and I come across my first suit that I absolutely had to have, and it was a pineapple suit, and I don't know if I don't think it was in. Yeah, you did. You did put a picture of it in your video there.
Yeah.
That was the first crazy suit that I got. And I thought, these suits are mass produced. Anybody can buy them. That ain't gonna work for me. So I sent my people at Bojangles the email, and I said, I've got an idea. And I laid them out. I said, I want a Cajun filet suit. And they're like, a what now? And I said, all I need is just a sample photo of the Cajun filet wrapper that you wrap your biscuits in, and I'm going to get that made into a suit. And they said, okay. I said, with y'all's permission, of course.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this without y'all's permission or whatever. And they said, well, yeah, rock and roll. So they sent me the thing, and I got the suit made, and they loved it, and they reimbursed me for the suit.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
oh yeah. So I was like, you know what, rock and roll. So I had the Bojangles Championship belt. Then I had the suit, and I started doing some managing, and then I started cutting promos, just having a good time. And the next thing I know, I get an email from Bojangles. It's and don't let me. I'm gonna drop this because I completely forgot. But they would send me stacks of gift cards in the mail, which was the absolute most amazing time of my life. Is just like I had so many $100 gift cards, I didn't know what to do with.
Wow.
You know, I would I would pretty much just give them away because it's just like there's no way I can eat this much Bojangles.
Right. Which is what they wanted too, because you're bringing other people to the product, getting them
Yeah,
hooked. Yeah.
absolutely. And so I was, they hit me up one day and they said, you know, we're doing a whole new line of stuff. We're going to send you a box of stuff. If you don't mind, just start wearing it or whatever when you do your videos or take pictures with it. And I was like, well, send whatever y'all want. I'm game for whatever. Y'all done gave me a belt. I'm
Yeah,
game
yeah.
for whatever. So I got a big old box in the mail. It had hoodies, sweaters, a ball cap, stickers, t-shirts, shorts, socks, sunglasses, gift cards, and a biscuit pillow, which is sitting behind me. I don't think you can see it behind me, but it is actually a pillow that looks like a Bojangles biscuit. It is
That's
absolutely
awesome.
awesome. I love it, and I would take pictures with that stuff, and it's the biscuit pillow is actually the belt stand that I used for my old school Bojangles Championship belt. So I ran with that for a while, and most people don't realize it, but Bojangles actually changed their logo a couple of years ago, and my stuff was outdated. I was like, let's see. I hit them up and I said, y'all, I said, I'm loving what I'm doing. I said, but there's no way that I can be y'all's champion with these old school looks. And they were like,
Right.
what you want? I said, I want the new stuff on the suit, the new Cajun Filet logo and all that mess. So all I was asking for was that one suit, was that
Right.
Cajun Filet suit. And lo and behold, they sent me three. The new Cajun Filet suit, the chicken head suit, and then they sent me another suit, which is the wrapper that they wrap their sandwiches in.
Yeah.
And I have never wore that suit, maybe once or twice. Um, for like I think I just like threw the coat on to take like a promo picture in, and I just never wore it out in public. Well, I've got some friends, Damian Purvis and Neil Johnson, and their sons were huge fans of mine. So instead of me, I was like, I rarely ever use this suit. It was just sitting in my closet because I love the other three so much. So I just
Mhm.
split that suit up amongst them, and I let them rock it. And, yeah, I'm not always going to be the Bojangles champ. We're never going to have to hand the belt off. So you got to get
Mm.
your proteges ready to rock and
Yeah.
roll, brother. So
I I I think the flair in you, you can go until you're 70. So, I think we can, see that. Well, I want to fast forward just a little bit because
All right,
you then officially become a Bojangles brand ambassador,
correct.
um, and you do a great job. And then we fast forward a few years, and my timeline may be a little mixed up because, as I've said lately, time has just been a vortex, and I can't remember what was what. But either earlier this year or late last year, you got the opportunity to have face-to-face time with the head honcho, if I am
Absolutely
correct.
correct.
And
Correct.
so, that's kind of the culmination for anybody with a passion, is to get to the top person who runs whatever that is. How did that come about, and what was that like, meeting with the CEO?
Oh, and let me tell you. So the CEO, Mr. Jose Armario, he was. I don't want to downplay me meeting him. It's not my overall goal. My overall
Mhm.
goal is that TV commercials,
Yeah.
radio ads, just an ad campaign with the Bojangles Champion. Because I feel like what I'm doing is very marketable. They take very good care of me, and I would love for this whole repertoire, the championship, and all this mess to help Bojangles get to the next level.
I agree. Put you on TV.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my overall goal. But you know, that the milkshake that we talked about earlier, that Bowberry milkshake, that's something that's not uh, at the older stores. It's more of the at the newer stores that are the corporate stores that are spreading to the west. That's something that they have. So thankfully, Mr. Armario follows me on Twitter, and I said, man, I got to try one of those shakes. And he said, well, I'm going to have my people contact you, and we'll set up a time for you to come meet me. I'm like, shut up. Let's go. So that August last year, August of 2023, I want to say August 22nd, forgive me if I'm wrong or not, I had my second visit down to the Bojangles headquarters, where this time I was actually greeted by Mr. Armario, and that I think you had some of the video there. But when I pulled up in the parking lot, I didn't know what I knew a little bit of what to expect because I had been there before. It's in the same place. But Miss Stacia McCrae met me out front, and she's wearing it's August in North Carolina, brother. It's a little hot, but she's wearing a sport coat and she's covering her shirt up. And I didn't pay any attention at the time. I was just thinking in my head, I was like, I'm out here in the suit. I know you got to be hot because it's hot.
Right, right.
It's hot in August. And she had on a white T-shirt underneath, and she's like, "Well, come on in. We've been waiting for you or whatever." And I bebop on in, and they have all their employees standing there at the front door. They put up it's a bow time backdrop, and they have literally rolled out the red carpet for the champ, and they're all cheering for me when I walk in the door, and it's just absolutely. Mr. Armario's there waiting for me, and I've got the robe you can see sitting back here behind me, and I've got that in a Bojangles tailgate box, and it was just awesome. It was just absolutely awesome. And it's like I said before, you're talking about a huge corporation taking a day, a day to treat me. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the biggest social media influencer ever because I'm definitely not. But for them to do that for me was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, and to put it in
Absolutely
perspective
awesome.
with CEOs and people who are in that upper echelon of the tax bracket, shall we say, their time is literally converted into money. And
Correct.
you if you want certain amount of time with these people, um, they can in full expectation say, well, that's going to be X amount of dollars. And like you said, for a CEO to take most of the day with you, it was incredible. I loved the videos. They were great. They made me smile so big to see the reception, and to see the effort that was put in it. It was almost like a love letter from Bojangles to you, for your dedication, and even more than that, it was a love letter to Bojangles, uh supporters in general and their customers, saying, hey, we recognize when people appreciate our product, and we want to appreciate them back. And so I know that there was PR involved in all this stuff, but I thought it was a beautiful, beautiful moment for you coming there. And then, if I'm not mistaken, that's where belt version 2 came from.
No, 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 no.
Oh,
So when they changed logos or whatever, my good friend Randy Jackson with Top Rope Belt had got in contact with Bojangles, and they produced the second championship, and they let me help in on the design a little bit, and that was
that's
the red leathered Bojangles Championship. That championship, sadly, is no longer with me because I honestly have no business in uh, making championship belts. Let's be legit. So Randy told me, Randy and Jesse Justice were like, look, like we understand you love colored leather, but this black leather would look better. It would make the Bojangles logo pop more. He
right.
made the spinner plate interchangeable, which was just an amazing idea because it's, as if they do a promotion, I can order the discs that go on the front of the belt, and I can interchange them for that.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful, beautiful championship. And I could actually talk about it and let people look at it at the same time, I reckon.
Yeah.
But as
Yeah.
as people can see, it's a spinner. It's got it's bow time side plate, and just in case anybody questions who the champ is, it's got my beautiful face on the side there with a beautiful red leather backing on the back side of it. And the logo plate there is, of course, Bojangles as well. You,
It really
it's just,
is a gorgeous, like any wrestling promotion would love to, any boxing promotion. Like, that's a belt that is, wear to the ring worthy in any combat sport. And that it really is a beautiful job there that Top Rope did.
oh, it's absolutely wonderful. And I know the spinner gimmick is that it's a gimmick, but what people don't understand is this is to bring attention.
Yeah,
That's what it's
absolutely.
for.
All right.
It's to draw attention. It's to make people want to hold it. And I don't want to say I'm gimmick towards kids, but let's be for real. Could you imagine? Could you imagine though? Could you imagine?
Yeah,
Your kids get a little bow box for a kids meal, and inside of it is their own,
little
little
belt.
mini, yeah, little
Yeah.
belt that they can put on their figures. Or
Oh,
what if what if somebody has their own Bojangles Champion action figure?
yeah, it's
It's
so
just
right. We need a little Bojangles champ wrestling buddy in every kid's meal. And right there, and I'm telling you, I can see it. I love it. So man, this time I just looked up at the clock, and I got to tell you, most of these I end up going to the clock and going, okay, we have this much time left. We have flown by the time that I thought. And so just as we kind of head towards the end gate here, there's a couple of things that I always like to hit on in these these times. And so thank you for sharing your love, and just such a great inspiration. uh and something like this, where you're kind of putting your heart out there, we'll be honest and be real in a kind of a quirky way. Like, there's not a lot of people that are willing to get on the internet and dress in a crazy suit and promote a fast food restaurant on their own. And so in this journey, was there any times where you're like, oh, this is silly, this, I can't do this anymore, or like, I don't know why I'm even bothering? Were there struggles along the way? You said you still have an end goal, but you had steps along the way. Was there ever a time where you truly struggled with what you were doing?
oh, absolutely, bro, absolutely. It's one of the things of yeah, I want that commercial. That's where I want to be. I got the billboards down in Charlotte, so I know it's plausible. I know it can happen. I believe it will happen. But yeah, dude, every day. I'm not going to sit back and tell that lie. Every single day I question, because some people just look at it and they don't get it. I've been criticized for it. I've been hated on for it. I've been ridiculed for it. I have been made fun for it. But my thing is guess what? This is my path. This is my desire. If you don't understand it, get over it and let me live my life how I want to
Mhm.
live my life because this doesn't hurt anybody. And
Right.
then I go out and I meet people and I meet kids and I meet adults and it's it's one of those things. It's like, man, you know, during the week when I'm not doing it, people ridicule it or whatever. But when I throw this suit on, like yesterday, I had my 40th birthday party at Bojangles yesterday.
Yes, I was going to
And,
bring that up at the very end and say happy birthday,
oh,
but happy
thank you,
birthday there.
thank you, I appreciate it. And they're, the workers there know me,
Mhm.
obviously, or whatever, but then they want to come out and take pictures. People who have never seen me or seen my social media seen me there, and they're just they kind of give me that side eye a little bit, and they're like, "What in the world is this?" And so
Right.
then when I see that they're engaged in what I'm wearing, then I go over there and introduce myself, and then the next thing is, "Oh, we got to have a picture together. Can I hold the belt? Can I wear the mask? Can I wear the robe?" And dude, that's what people don't realize. That's what people don't see is the smiles that I put on people's faces when I take this belt and kids see it and I hand it to them because I do work with my youth group at my church and I go to camp with them and I dress in this at camp. You know, I go I wear those crazy suits and these kids see me and they can't figure out what it's all about and then they hold the belt and they want the same way. They just want to take pictures and hold the belt. They want to take pictures with me and then it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. I have an absolute blast making people smile.
Yeah. And that's and I love that you said that because that's the point of this whole series is God's given us passions. Being a fanatic, being a fan is a passion, and God's given those to us because he wants us to use them. He wants us to go forward in them, and he wants us. The world may not believe this at time, but God wants us to be happy. God wants us to enjoy life the way he has, and things like this are like you said, this is what a path that he's had for you, and that makes you happy, and you're able to bring that. I love it because I know you're a brother in Christ, and I know I've seen your change,
Absolutely.
I've seen everything, you get to bring that joy of the Lord to people through this, and I love seeing that. And I think I don't think I know the Lord has been faithful and is blessing more that'll see that. Well, and so with that, on the flip side, in this journey, we may have already covered it, but we may not have. Was there a moment where you got to say, I get to do this? This is the coolest thing. This is I can't I can't believe it. I get to do this. What was that moment for you?
Oh, that billboard, brother.
Yeah.
That billboard. That when Miss Stacy took me out there and she was like, "We're gonna go ride around in the Bojangles Jeep," and she started circling a certain area, and I was like, and I had asked for a billboard. I don't want to say I asked, but I think I made a tweet about billboards and stuff like that. And Mr. Armario said, "Oh, we can make that happen," and I was like, "Right, sure, we can make that happen." And then that second visit, and they had that billboard up. Man, that was just something awesome. Like I said, here's a huge corporation once again taking money and putting it on me.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
not to mention the new deal they got with the WWE with these cups and. Well, I could go through all through these cups all day long, my man, and I hope it's something that they continue to keep doing with the WWE.
Yeah.
It's a combination, brother. It's a combination of two of my
Your
favorite
two
things,
words.
man.
I
Yeah.
uh, I may have a question about those off air, but that's another story, you know. And I don't want to skim over it real quick. I want the viewers to understand. This is Charlotte, North Carolina. This is one of the largest cities in the country. And there are literally hundreds of thousands of people every day that will go by these billboards.
Yep.
And yeah, like you said, they put it on there. I I want to make sure that's what we're not talking about, hidden behind a cornfield. We're talking people's eyes on that thing. And I agree. I think that's it was
Right,
amazing to see.
right there at the exit for Billy Graham Road, showing up,
Oh,
showing up.
well, well, I think that was also had in the hand in there. So, well, so JZ, I one last question, and I ask
Yes, sir.
everybody this. You're still on your journey, but if now 40-year-old JZ could go and say anything to 12-year-old you, what would you tell him?
Um, don't be an idiot. Don't be selfish. Don't be selfish. Be patient. Listen to your mom and daddy. Listen to your grandparents, and follow Jesus. I wish I could tell you like this 100%, brother. Me getting saved at 36 years old. Um, I grew up in church. I, my grandparents took me every Sunday. My dad's mother was a devout believer. Um, I thought I was saved. I knew the way to salvation. I knew that Jesus was the only way to, and I actually led my dad's dad to Christ the night before he passed away from a stroke.
Amen.
I was 17 years old. I knew the way. I could tell other people the way, but I had such a legalistic view of what salvation is.
Yeah.
And my wife leaving me, my ex-wife leaving me, was a combination of the worst thing that ever happened to me and the best thing that ever happened to me. Because a nobody wants to be divorced.
Right.
B, I was rightfully divorced. And C, it broke me. It broke me from being a selfish, self-involved piece of trash human, and broke me down to my knees, and finally got me saved.
Amen.
Finally. And ever since October 29th, 2020, I have been absolutely grateful for every single day that I have had. Every single day.
Yeah, and I testify as a longtime follower, seeing the change in you, and it's and I'll let everybody know that follows the champ. He's not going to shove Jesus down your throat, but he's going to let you know that he loves him, and he wants you to know that he loves you too. And we also know Jesus loves Bojangles, because that's a holy bite if we ever had one. Well, champ, I so appreciate you taking this time. We went way longer than I said that we would go for you, but I appreciate you just being so willing. Is there anything that you want to plug before we head out here? Anything you want to let the people to know to go follow or go see?
Absolutely. You can find me, the Bojangles Champion, on TikTok, Twitter. I'll never call it X, Instagram, and Facebook. And folks, please, 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 when you eat Bojangles, please tag me in it. And if you get some of these beautiful WWE cups, tag me in that as well. Thankfully, Bojangles hooked me up with the whole set before they ever hit the streets. But I couldn't talk about it until they did the official unveil or whatever. But please, folks, anytime you eat Bojangles, please tag me. Let them know that the champ sent you there, and it would do me so much. It would do me just a huge favor every single time. And like we said before, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Nobody should get to the Father except through Him. So don't forget that.
Amen. Amen. Well, if you're in Eastern Pennsylvania, head to Reading. If you're seeing this anywhere else in the country, there's a Bojangles next to near you. Get there. Trust me. I got to go back. I can't wait. And I do want to thank, Bojangles, just because if they didn't give this much support, Jay-Z wouldn't have this amazing story to share with us. So please support them, because it's obvious there. Well, folks, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Get to Know. And if you are just watching for the first time, go ahead and subscribe. Go back and watch all the other interviews. We have amazing interviews with some incredible people who follow their passions. It doesn't need to be in order because you're getting to know people, getting to know their story. And so that's what we encourage you to do. So go back, watch the videos, stay tuned for the next videos. And I can't wait to see who's next that we get to know here on this channel. So until next time, see you later.